Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ryan, and if you're new here, I make videos about houseplants. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my current favorite houseplants, some of my favorite tools and accessories that I use pretty frequently with my plants. I have a couple different types of plants. Some of them are new, some of them I've had for a bit now and they're really starting to take off growing. And then some of the tools that I have to share are tools that have been really helpful for me, especially going into the growing season. I've been doing a lot of repotting and also just like fertilizing my plants, so I'm going to share some of the things that have been helping me with that. I think I'm going to start with some of the plants. So one of the first plants that I have is a begonia. This is actually the only begonia that I have in my collection currently. I used to have a couple other types, but I've never really been like super interested in begonia. I don't really have a lot of space in my apartment, so there are definitely some other plants that I would much rather have over some of the begonia that I've had in the past. But there is a local greenhouse that's pretty local to me, and the owner of the greenhouse pretty much like discovered this type of begonia, which I think is really cool. And since I found out about it, I've always wanted one, and I finally picked one up. This is the Begonia Canary Wings. So I don't know if you can tell, but it has like these large lobe leaves. And from my understanding, this is the only type of like wing begonia that has this type of color on it that's like bright yellow. And it was some kind of like mutation or something that he found in a plant and was able to keep cultivating it, which I think is really cool. I've wanted one now for a couple seasons, and yeah, I think it's really pretty, especially in terracotta. And it actually just got done blooming. It has pretty bright red blooms, and they're really pretty. But so far it's been pretty easy. I've had it for almost a month now, and it seems to be growing pretty quickly. Like all of this up here is new growth. There's a lot more like popping out. I've been really excited about this one. I found it and it was a pretty good price. I think I paid like $8 for a 4-inch pot of it. I just think it's really kind of cool that somebody local to me is who kind of discovered this begonia, and that it's a nursery that I regularly go to. So yeah. This is the Begonia Canary Wings. So the next plant that I have is a Hoya. This was a Hoya that I got a cutting of in a trade with one of my original plant friends, Monica, and it honestly for a while it was taking like a little bit of time to really establish its roots, but this is the Hoya Polynura. Russell's laying on my feet, so I'm trying not to step on him. For the longest time, it just had the first set of leaves and then the second set right here, and it was really just establishing its roots. But now you can see it's starting to push out a longer vine, and it just recently put out these 2 sets of leaves, probably within like the last 3 weeks, which is pretty quick for this Hoya. I've had this for I think a little over a year. Oh, almost exactly a year. I got this May in 2022. But yeah, it already has, I can see like new leaves starting to come out from these ones. I can try to show you, but I don't know how good you can see it because they're like right just on like the tip of the vine. But yeah, I really love the look of this Hoya. I eventually want to chop it so that I can fill out the pot a little bit more. But as of right now, I think it looks pretty cute in this terracotta pot, just being like a single vine trailing. I wasn't sure how much I'd actually like this Hoya until I got it. And now I really think I want the variegated one, which is a pretty penny. So I doubt that I would be getting it anytime soon, but if I ever saw it for a good price, I definitely would get it, and I think that it would actually look pretty cool potted up together in the pot with the regular Polynura. It's been super easy for me to grow. It did take like a while to really get rooted and started, and starting to put leaves out. But honestly, the whole time, like, I haven't had any issues with any rot. I haven't had any pest issues so far. But yeah, it's quite a thinner leaved Hoya than what I'm used to, but it's growing pretty fast and it seems pretty healthy. So if this is one that you're kind of considering getting, I definitely would try it out. It might even be like a good one to start from a cutting if you aren't able to find like a fuller pot, which is what I did. But yeah, I love this plant, and it sits in a spot that I can see it every day from my desk, which kind of makes me happy when I'm working. Okay, so this next plant, I used to have a regular string of hearts, and a couple videos back I made a video of plants that I picked up when I went to visit my family a couple hours away, and I got a string of arrows, and it's been a while since I've had any of the string of plants, and it's because I typically kill them, so I was nervous about getting another one. So I got the string of arrows, and when I got it, I cut off pretty much all of the vines that were growing so that my grandma could propagate them. And so far, it's back here. I had to move some stuff around, but so far it's growing like crazy. Like, it already has vines, like a handful of vines that are past a foot long, and it's growing pretty fast because I got that, I think it was like mid-March. So once I started seeing that, like, I think in a better spot now to take care of string of plants, and I kind of understand how they grow a little bit better, I decided that I wanted to try out the variegated string of hearts again. Well, not again. I never had the variegated one. I just had the regular string of hearts. But I don't know if you can see it. I got this, I think, like 2 weeks ago. And it didn't have any of, like, this new growth right here. It just had pretty much what was in the top of the pot. And it's already growing so much. So I'm really excited about it. I think that I like the variegated string of hearts better than the regular because it has more of that like pinky purple tint on the backs of the leaves, which I can try to show you. Excuse my nails, I need done so bad. But yeah, I've really been liking like the look of the string of hearts, and I also think too, starting from a smaller plant might help me because I can really pay attention to how it needs care and kind of adjust as it gets bigger. And yeah, so far 2 weeks in, we're doing pretty good. Nothing's died yet, so I'm excited to see how much this grows through this summer because already in 2 weeks it's really grown a lot. So the next plant that I have is actually kind of a funny story of how I got it. So I initially was looking for different types of Hoya Lacunosa varieties because I have just the regular Hoya Lacunosa, and I really love it. That's the first Hoya that I've ever gotten to bloom for me, and I love the shape of the like teardrop leaves and how like small the leaves are. So I thought, like, hey, there's other types out there that are really cool that I would really like to have, and I'd honestly prefer some of the Lacunosa varieties over even other types that I have in my collection, like other types of Hoya that I have in my collection. So I had heard about this one type of Hoya Lacunosa last year. It's the Hoya Lacunosa Poonsak, and it's been on my wish list for a while now because I heard about the story of it. Basically, this person who is going to research to basically go look for different types of Hoya Lacunosa or Hoya in general where they grow. He was out trying to find different types, and he found one that was like high up in a tree. And his taxi driver ended up climbing the tree to get a piece of it so that way they could take it back and study it. And so they ended up naming that Hoya after the taxi driver. And I just thought that was like a really cool story that like this person who was just trying to help ended up getting a plant named after them. And I thought that that would be really cool and special to have in my collection. So I've been looking for the Hoya Lacunosa Poonsak. So then I found a seller and she was like, yeah, don't worry, like let me know how many nodes you want and I'll ship it to you. And I was like, okay. So then she sent me a picture of it and everything, and she had like very purple lights, like grow lights on, so I couldn't really like tell that it wasn't the Lakinosa, especially like it's hard to tell like the leaf size and everything when there's nothing in the picture that can help you like determine what size it is. So she ended up sending me a cutting of the Hoya Lacunosa, I'm going to say it wrong, it's the Peringan Durian. I'll put the name up on the screen because I'm pretty sure I'm not saying that right. And then after she mailed it to me, she messaged me and said that she realized that she accidentally took cuttings of the wrong Lakinosa. And I was like, oh, no problem. Like, you know, I can pay for this. And then if you're still willing to sell me some of the regular Poonsak Lakinosa, I would be more than willing to buy it. And she was like, no, like it's totally my fault. Keep that cutting, you don't have to send it back or pay for it, and I'll send you more cuttings of the Lakinosa that you like actually paid for, the Poonsak. All that to say, I had never heard of this variety of Hoya Lacunosa. This is actually the smallest Lakinosa leaf, and it's like super purple and kind of sun-stressed. So she sent this to me, and it's a pretty decent cutting. It was an unrooted cutting, so I have it in pond, and I just checked the roots today, and it's starting to root up. But I just think that it's so pretty, and it was one that I didn't know about, and just by accident, I ended up getting it. And yeah, it's probably one of my favorite Hoyas ever. It's kind of, at least my cutting is pretty splashy too, and it has like a really cool texture. Like, I know that a lot of people are starting to get into those like trashy or Jurassic kind of textured Hoya, and this one I think kind of has more of that like prehistoric look to it, especially when it's sun-stressed, which is pretty cool. I just knocked it out of the pond. But yeah, so all of that, and I ended up getting my wishlist plant, which is the Poonsak, and I ended up getting a new plant that once I discovered it probably would have been a wishlist plant. So yeah, I made out in that deal for sure, and the girl that was selling it to me was super sweet, and I'll probably buy from her again because she was pretty awesome. So my next favorite is a plant that I recently got. It's another Hoya, which most of the ones that I have today are Hoyas. I was watching a video by one of my plant friends, Dakota, and he was going through some of his Hoya in his collection, and he shared the Hoya Kadata Sumatra, and it was recently blooming for him, and he shared some of the pictures of the blooms. And I had never seen this plant. I'd only seen like, I think the leaves of the plant here and there, but I never saw the bloom. And the bloom is super fuzzy. But basically once I saw his Hoya and saw like what the blooms look like, it immediately went on to my wish list, and then I started looking to see if anybody could trade for it or if there's anywhere that I could get it, even just like a cutting from a seller. So I ended up finding one, and I got this like the beginning of April, and it was just the leaves. Like there were no like vines or anything growing on it yet. And since then, this is what it looks like. But it has grown so much already, and it's already starting to put new leaves out. But I love it because even like the tendrils are pretty fuzzy. I just took pictures of it and I put it on Instagram, so I can insert those to show you a little bit better because I think it'll be easier to see. But the leaves have like a pretty fuzzy like top and bottom, and I'm really excited, and hopefully I can get it to bloom. I've been spraying it with the Miracle-Gro Orchid spray, which is also one of my favorites for the month, and I think it's really been enjoying it. I keep these two in my cabinet, just because this one currently is rooting. I think once it roots it won't have to be in the cabinet, but this one seems to really like the cabinet. And there's a philodendron, part of like a new McDowell that I got, is in my cabinet growing, and these tendrils have like reached out. I need to get a new trellis for it, but the tendrils have like reached out and they've wrapped around my other philodendron in the cabinet, So pretty soon I need to get a better trellis for this because it's really growing fast and it really wants something to grab onto. These kind of just twist around themselves until they touch something else to wrap around. So I wasn't expecting this Hoya to grow this fast because what I've heard is that it's a pretty slow grower. But so far, I don't know if I just got a lucky cutting. It seems to be growing pretty fast for me. And it has a ton of new leaves on the way, which is super fun. But yeah, I'm excited to get this trellised up a little bit better. I can't believe just in like a month it's already outgrown this one that I have. So maybe that will be an update in a future video that I do. Okay, so this is the last plant that I have, and it is the Anthurium Crystallineum Silver. I don't really know all the difference between like the regular crystallinums and the silver, and I think there's like a red crystal too. I'm not sure, but I saw this on the Equihenera live stream on Instagram that they do. I think they do them on like Tuesdays and Fridays, and I made an Anthurium seedling video a couple months ago where I went through basically all of my baby Anthuriums because at the time that's pretty much all I had. I didn't have any like larger plants, and a lot of the plants that I have are hybrids. I wanted to get like a parent plant for all of the hybrids that I have, and the first Anthurium that I had was a Crystallinum magnificum hybrid from the seedling race that I participated in. And at the beginning of the year, I got a magnificum seedling, and I wanted to see kind of the traits that the hybrid picks up from each of the parents. So I saw this one and I thought that it was pretty cool and it looked pretty healthy, and I was a little bit nervous about importing an Anthurium because I've not really imported a lot of plants in general, and I've never imported Anthurium. I don't think I've really never even like gotten a whole plant shipped. I've only gotten seeds shipped that were Anthuriums, and surprisingly enough, there was like no issue with it. I got it. I don't have a single yellow leaf from ordering it. The roots were all really healthy. I just pulled them out of the moss and I had left it in water for like 2 weeks and it did really good. So I transferred it to Pawn, and then I've just kind of been waiting, and it now put out some more roots. So I don't know if you can see in there, there's like some fuzzy white roots that are growing. And it seems pretty happy. I just moved this on my IKEA shelf under some grow lights today, but for like the last 2 to 3 weeks, it has been sitting on my coffee table, which hardly gets any light because I have north-facing windows and there's no grow lights near it, and it seems to be doing really good. I haven't noticed any like real new growth. Like it looks like there's kind of like a leaf starting to come out here, but it's that part's pretty much looked the same since I imported it. But yeah, I'm super excited. I think it's a really pretty plant. I really like the shape of the leaves and I really like the sinus shape. So I'm hoping that soon it will just start to put out more leaves and I can watch them get bigger, because that would be really cool. And I think this one was the new leaf that it had when I imported it, so there is a little bit of cosmetic damage just because of how it was wrapped in the box. It was still like a really soft leaf. It was like, I think only like recently started to like harden off completely. So it does have a little bit of damage, but honestly, for importing a plant that I've never tried to import before, it did pretty good, and I honestly could not have been happier with that purchase because everything so far has gone really well. But yeah, this is the Anthurium Crystallinum Silver. So now I'll move more into some of the tools that I have. The next one is, it's been a really useful tool for me for over a year now, and I still have the same one and it's been phenomenal. For a while I was repotting plants either just directly on the floor or using like the lid of my soil bin to do it so that I wouldn't make as big of a mess. But my soil bin isn't really that big and there's nothing really to keep the soil from like falling over the side of the lid. And I was watching one of Fern's videos and she was doing a repot, and I saw that she was using like a potting mat, and I'd never seen that before because I was still pretty new to Plants Done. And I thought, well, like, that's pretty cool. It kind of keeps all of your soil in, so that way pretty much whatever you don't use, you can pour it easily back into your bin and everything. And I have a dog, and so if I ever spill soil and stuff on the ground, there's like dog hair, and I don't want that mixed into my soil, so I just felt like I was wasting a lot of soil. My boyfriend asked if there was like anything specific that I wanted for Christmas that year, and I said I really, really want one of these potting mats because I think it will be so helpful for me. I'm not gonna have to vacuum as much like after I'm done because I'm not gonna have soil as all over the place. And so he got me this potting mat. This is from Leaflet Co., and I'll tag all of her information down below. But she makes these potting mats, and they're really nice because they roll up. They're like a thick vinyl, and they have button snaps. So there's like one button snap that keeps it like rolled up that you can unhook to unroll it. And then I just used it so it's a little bit wet. But it basically unrolls into this mat, and then these corners snap up so that way the corners snap up so that way you can there's like a edge on the side, so that way like stuff doesn't fall over the side. You can kind of just keep everything in the potting mat, which is really nice. And then the part that I like the most is that when you are done potting and you have extra soil in here, you really can just like open up one of the corners and like kind of bend it, and then all of the soil will just very neatly fall right back into your soil bin, so then you don't have a mess everywhere. And then I pretty much just clean this, I wipe it down a little bit, and I'm like good to go. And it's really nice if you don't have a lot of space like I do in a 700 square foot apartment, because you can just roll it right back up. And I have a little cart that I keep like all of my potting supplies and like my nutrients and stuff on, and I just stick it right on there and it rolls up. Or you can keep it like behind your TV stand or behind your plant stand or whatever. And I think these are one of the best things that I've gotten since I started getting into houseplants, because I'm a very messy person and I easily can make a mess with dirt. So if there's anything out there that can help me, I definitely want to use it, because I don't want dirt everywhere and I don't want to waste, like, dirt is expensive. Potting substrates are expensive, so I'm not trying to waste more of that. And yeah, this has just been great. Like I said, I'll tag all her information below, so if you're interested, there's a lot of other sellers on Etsy too that you can get like different patterns and stuff, and she has a bunch of different patterns, but it was just the one that I saw Fern using, and I think she had like a discount code at the time, so I was able to get one. And weekly I tell my boyfriend that this is like the best gift I've ever gotten, because it honestly helps me all the time, and it's so quick to just pull it out and use it. There's really never been a time where I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm like too lazy to pull it out and like undo it, because it's super quick. So yeah, if you are messy when it comes to repotting your plants, this is a savior. The next product that I have, I got this because I was watching both Harley G and Jasmina. I have enough plants and I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, like, yeah, my plants definitely need to be fertilized. Do I know a thing about fertilizer? Not really. So I was trying to find something that can kind of help introduce me to giving my plants some type of nutrients. I know that there's like a lot of debate on Liquidirt and what it actually can do for your plants, and if it's technically a fertilizer or not, I'm not sure. All I know is that I started using Liquidirt and it's really helped my plants a lot, I think. Basically, see, when I would see everybody having this container in their videos, I thought that it came as a liquid. It doesn't come as a liquid. It comes as a powder in here. There's like a little bit of powder in the bottom. and you have to add water to this. So like, I didn't know how to use it at first, and I was really overwhelmed, and I was scared to use it because I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. And the directions on the back, I was just, I don't know, overthinking it. Basically, you get your pouch of Liquidirt, which is just like granules of the Liquidirt powder, and you add a cup of water into this pouch. And then you're supposed to take a capful and put the capful into a gallon of water, and that's your mix. And then you're supposed to take 2 tablespoons of the mix and put that into another gallon of water. And then that's supposed to be the water that you water your plants with. I don't do it that way. I think some people do it like that way. I know Jasmina doesn't do it that way, and I kind of do it how she does. My Liquidirt mixes always look way darker than everybody else's, but my plants love it, and they seem to suck it up. So this, I basically have like a syringe dropper that I was using for neem oil and stuff before. I mean, I cleaned it since then. But basically, I just take a dropper and I take some of this and I just stick it into a watering can and I water my plants with it. And my plants that are in pond really like it. And I think it's been really beneficial because I get the Lechuza pond without any kind of fertilizer in it just because I don't know that much about it and I don't want to like burn my plants or anything. And they seem to really be enjoying the Liquidirt. But yeah, since I got this, it's been pretty good. I think it has, I don't know. I don't really know what this is, but I'll buy it and I'll still use it. And this pouch I think will last me a long time, even though I'm, I think, using like a higher concentration of it than it says to. It's really concentrated, which makes sense because it is a powdered concentrate. But yeah, I basically just take a little syringe of this and I put it either into a squeezy bottle or into my watering can, and I just water my plants with this, and so far they do pretty good. And I don't think that you can like burn your plants with this, and I've been using it and I've seen it used at like higher concentrations than recommended, and it doesn't really seem to impact them in a negative way. And then you can use this with every watering. If you follow the directions, it says that you can use it with every watering. I use it with every watering and I don't follow the directions and they get way more of it and they're still fine. So yeah, I don't know. It's been pretty good. I'd say it's worth it if you want to try it out, or if you're new to any kind of fertilizers and like learning about them. I think it's a pretty good introduction to it. And then speaking of fertilizers, I, for a long time, had Hoya and they weren't growing. I think I've talked about this before, but I was talking to my plant friend Jen. If you haven't checked out her YouTube channel yet, I will link it below as well, but she is Green and Sheen on both YouTube and Instagram, and her plants look amazing all the time. And basically, I couldn't get my plants to grow, my Hoya, and I didn't know what I was doing wrong. They were just taking a long time, and I had grow lights, and it didn't really seem to be doing much. And she said, listen, get this Miracle-Gro orchid spray, and once a week or once every other week at night when you turn your lights off, spray your Hoya with this. Don't spray it during the day or while the lights are on because it'll burn your Hoya leaves, and it will burn your Hoya leaves, so do not do that. But I got the orchid spray, and this is like my 4th bottle of it, and let me tell you what, this makes a difference. I'm pretty sure this is how I got my Lakinosa to bloom finally. And yeah, my Hoya seem to really like it. I have one orchid, and for some reason I just wasn't spraying it when I was going around misting everything. So then I was like, okay, well, I should probably spray the orchid with the orchid spray too. And it's now putting out more leaves, which I'm really happy about. But basically, Hoyas can take nutrients in through their leaves, and so this has been like a pretty good fertilizer or feed for my Hoya, and they seem to really like it. My Hoya Matilda is growing insane since I started using it on that plant, and that was just like a 2-leaf cutting when I got it, and now it's like a full 4-inch pot that's got like multiple vines and it's all trellised up. It looks really pretty. So yeah, if you're looking to find a fertilizer or feed for your Hoya plants, this is definitely a good way to go. However, this bottle where I'm at is like $8 a bottle, so it's like not super expensive, but like when you're using it and you have multiple Hoya like I do, like I think I have like 40 some Hoya, you go through it pretty quick. So I found a powder concentrate of, I think it's like the Better Grow. I'll insert a picture of it so you can see it. But basically once this is done, I'm going to try to make my own mix with that, because the whole bag of the powder is $5, and I don't know that I'm going to go through it nearly as quickly as this, because it's like a big bag, and I think I'll be able to make more and it'll be like more cost effective. I just want to make sure that my Hoya grow in a comparable way using that than this. So I might try to mix some of that up, and I have 2 Matildas that are about the same size and they grow about the same rate, and I might just try to like test growing them like one with each to see if it does make a change, if there is a difference between the 2 types. But yeah, this I cannot recommend enough. My grandma started using it. Pretty much everybody that I know that has said that their Hoyas are growing slow, I've recommended this to them, because honestly, I'll always be thankful to Jen for sharing that with me, because it's been great. It's been so helpful. I'm starting to try to learn more about different nutrients and fertilizers so that I can help my plants with things that they're missing, whether it's like a lack of certain nutrients in the soil mix that they're in, or if I'm growing them hydroponically, because they're not going to get many nutrients being grown in something like a pond that has no fertilizer or nutrients in it. Just trying to like learn more about it and try to help provide the plants with what they need to keep growing. And then finally, I have one more item. It's not technically a plant item, but it is something that I enjoy having in my plant space. I have a friend who is a fiber artist, and I actually met her through the plant community. Her name is Crystal, and she is Not Your Nana's YarnWork on Instagram. And she crochets just beautiful pieces that are all body positivity pieces, and they're just really beautiful. And just over a year ago, I got these magnets that are like booby magnets from one of her drops that she had, and I'll link all her information below too, because she's just awesome. But I love these because I think that they're super cute. They are on my IKEA greenhouse cabinet, and I just have them like on the front doors, and they're just kind of fun. And I used to have them on, I had like a metal pot for one of my plants, and they were just on the front of my pot. And I just think that it's like a cute way to like decorate in your plant space and support like a small woman-owned business. And yeah, I'm gonna link all her stuff down below, because she makes super cute stuff, and I think that the magnets are really cool because they're pretty versatile. You don't just have to keep them on your fridge, like especially us with like plants. I feel like the plant people, like, we're a pretty crafty community, so working art like this into how we display our plants, I think is something that we're all pretty good at, and that we also just enjoy doing, because it makes our plant space feel even more special. So it's definitely nice to have these, like, especially around like plants that I've like gotten, that I've traded with her, and just having more artwork and stuff from my friends and from small businesses in general in my space. It just makes me really happy, and I just really enjoy supporting small businesses all year long, not just during the holidays. So, but yeah, I'll link all of her information down below too, in case you want to check it out. I'm not sure when her upcoming launches, but I'll get the information for that too and add it in, so you can be on the lookout to see the cute stuff that she's making that's coming up. That is all I have for my current plant favorites. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and maybe even found some tools that might be helpful for you, especially like while we're all in this season of repotting and really growing our plants. And yeah, if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more plant videos from me, make sure to hit the bell, so that way you'll be notified when I upload a new video. But let me know down in the comments below if there are any plants in your collections that you're really loving right now, or if there are any tools or anything that you're finding really helpful, especially while we're all working on helping our plants grow during the warmer season. Anyways, I hope that you all have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!